How's it going, ScrubGamers? Welcome back to another deck profile, and the first in, same deck profile, but the first in a new line of different deck profiles I'm doing, where what the aim of these new ones I'm going to do is, like I've been doing, have the deck shown to show off my list, and also still show off the list, go through all the deck choices, and go through a general turn progression. But with the future ones, what I'm going to try and do is a different way of also including at the end a recorded game to show an example of how the deck's played. And so, because I know some people do like it, just to see the list and hear to go with that and just test it. Some people like to see the list and also hear a bit about the deck, so they can play it more effectively and get an idea of what the deck's meant to do. And some people do. I know some people do like watching a game to see how it's played, to get a visual view from that way. So what I'm going to do is, going forward, is do it like this, showing off the deck, going over it, and then giving show gameplay footage to show how the deck performs. But before we get into the deck profile, first I want to shout out to DBS Deck Planet, the best deck building site currently in Dragon Ball. Really good feel for the site, really well maintained and always updated as well by the amazing creator. So if you haven't been using it yet, I recommend to go ahead and do it. And also one thing it does have as well, which doesn't really separate it from what makes it just as good as the rest of them, is you can also upload the deck straight to Untap as well. So if you see on the top right side of the deck profile, you can see he's got an untapped one. You can see mine ScrubGames. You can upload the list, and also what I'll do is leave in the description box below the link to the deck list on the site. So if you do want to go ahead and try this list out yourself on Untap, you can go straight into Deck Planet, find a deck using the link below, and import it straight to your Untap to give it a test straight away. And also as well, so you can get a full testing, the decks will have a full-on main deck and sideboard. As you can see, the little sideboard down below, and I'll go over the whole deck it is. So now what I'm going to do is get onto the deck profile. So this is Veku ramp, but with a twist. Also, another thing I need to shout is this isn't my general idea. This was an idea. This was a list on an idea and a list I found on the 3XG Discord. Shout out to them because I remember because what I've been enjoying a lot, because when the set 13 got released and I saw the Gohag Secret Rare, I wanted to see which I found a way to best use it in red decks using Pilaf. Finding out a way where you can drop Gohang's turn 4 and make it live to use his ultimate, his -4 ability, and in all with Pilaf make it a 40k triple striking quad attacker, because he's got dual attack over, it can gain triple attack from the leader, and it could be devastating if it isn't stopped by things like Dormant or Topo. And while doing that, I found out I was testing. I thought, well, not because it's searchable by Pilaf, the secret rare. I thought I'd also include Vegito, and after a lot of testing, I come to realise that Vegito is one of the best unisons at the moment for the format, because a lot of the decks require have the aim of just playing stuff for free or playing stuff by effects, which Vegito with its -2 can completely shut down. And as a result, there is a discussion in the VXG Discord, and this list ended up becoming created as a result of that. And ever since I saw it, I went on to try it. I've been loving it since. So starting off with the leader. So in general, idea with this deck is to get turn 3, drop your Veku, ramp up, and then play Unison to stop your opponent from playing things by effects, and maintain the markers by keep adding the markers on top of it using the Gogeta chain, which are these two down here. And along with that, to make sure you have some good stuff in blue, you've got red-blue combination as well to allow you to have things like Bean. But it's mainly focused on red, so you can play the Unison because it requires 4 specified red, and also have things like Topo and Baby Hatch for defense. And so start off with the leader. Leader's very strong. It's a blue leader, which some people I've played against do get confused by if I drop Gogeta and think they're going to have their board minus by 15, but they forget to realise that on the Fusion of the Gods it requires a red leader, which this Gogeta is a blue leader. So it doesn't have any draw on the front side, but it does have a way to still maintain advantage by activate main. Once per turn, look at the top 5 cards of your deck. You can choose either up to one red Son Goku BR card, red Vegeta BR card, or one blue Veku BR card. That's your hand and shuffle your deck. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different targets, and at least 3 to 4 of each of them. So you've got a lot of targets in the deck to find. It's not often that you'll whiff off of it, but sometimes you can. But there's the really odd time that you could whiff, and it's horrible. But it's not often you do it. And so even if your opponent stops you from awakening, you still gain a lot of advantage. You can still gain advantage on the front side. And there is a way to stop awaken using Scald the Aura, which we'll go over in a bit. And its awaken is the aggressive awakening, where when you last at 4 or less, you can untap 2 energy, flip it over, which is handy because it gives you more energy as well to extend your plays as well. Especially because if you leave your awakening turn to after you Veku ramp, you can drop both the Unison and the Gogeta chain in both the same turn, which normally requires 7 energy at the most, which is something that's great. And now on the front side, we have SS Gogeta the Unstoppable. So, like most leaders, when it awakens, got the auto when it attacks, draw 1. Then it's got 2 activate mains, one that requires 2 energy, one that doesn't. The first one is for 2 energy, and no restriction on how many times you can use it. You can use it as many times you have energy. You choose one of your opponent's battle cards, place it at the bottom of his deck. So it doesn't ignore barrier, which sucks, but what can you do about it? It'd be too busted if it was ignoring barrier. But this is great in the fact that just for 2 energy, you can bottom deck your opponent's card. So if they drop their, say they drop the Cell Secret early, or they drop something strong early that they don't want to stick on the board, you can just for 2 energy, bottom deck it. It's gone, as long as it doesn't have a barrier. This can come up really handy in situations, and even then, it does go pretty well with the next ability, which is Activate Main. Once per turn, choose one of your energy, place it in your drop area, draw 2 cards. So this is really strong in the fact that it means that if you charge, say, any Gogeta chain pieces or anything like that, they're not lost in your energy. Like you got this 8-drop Gogeta. Say if you charge that turn 1 or turn 2 or any turn, and you want to be able to grab it back, you can easily sack off your energy, and because this Vegeta here, which we'll go over in a bit, can grab back the pieces. So nothing energy is totally lost if it's a part of the Gogeta chain, and once you ramp up, you have more energy than you need, and being able to sack off an energy to draw 2 cards is very strong. And what I mean by it works really well with the first ability is you can use the first ability, tap 2, spin sent to the bottom of the deck, then sack one of those tapped energy off with the ever activate main and draw 2 cards, and then swing the draw another card. So when you're awakened, you're drawing 3 per turn most of the time, so you gain a lot of advantage when you're awakened. So that's enough for a leader. It's a very strong blue leader. It kind of is hindered by the fact that it requires outside help to awaken, but still, it's not too much of an issue with this deck. So the first thing we go on is the Unison. So the Unison choice is Vegeta Unison of Might, released back in Set 10. Didn't really make any waves because it was a really high costing Unison and required 4 red. But in this format at the moment, it's a very strong choice. So it's got 3 marker effects: 1+1, a -2, and a -5. And the main one you're going to be using the -2, but the other ones do come in handy. So the +1 is an activate main where you draw a card, then use it to one of your mono red battle cards with energy cost of 2 or less in your hand and play it. Mainly the one you're going to be playing is the 1-drop Goku, because the 1-drop Goku can try and get you net you a card as well from its effect, and 2, it goes back to your hand, so you still have it for combo power at the end. And it's just more if you need to draw and you don't, and the deck you're going against doesn't get hindered by the -2 that strong, that well, then the +1 allows you to keep it on board with 5 mark to as soon as you play it, got the 5 markers ready to use the next effect on the next -5 on the next turn. But the main effect you're going to be using is -2, which is an activate main until the end of your opponent's next turn. If your opponent would play a battle card using a skill, it's played in a drop area instead. So one thing to understand with this is it doesn't stop your opponent from playing things by effects. Just if they do play about effect, it goes straight in the drop. So your opponent forgets about this and overwhelms. The overwhelm is still legal, just the battle card goes straight to the drop and doesn't even hit the field. Now, I know some people might rule shock in that, but then once you activate it and explain the effects of your opponent, it's up to them to remember that it's an effect. But it's just such a strong effect in the fact that you just straight drop it -2, and now things like Topo don't hit the board, they go straight to drop, so they just discard 2. They lose 2 cards to stop that attack, and don't really hinder any other attacks. Same with that Gohan from Baby, goes straight to drop. You still negate with it, but goes straight to drop. And no more overwhelm until you stop using the effect. And literally just anything that will play by skill just goes straight to drop, which is fantastic. And it's easy enough to keep adding 2 markers to it each turn to keep it going. And after about 3 turns of using its effect, your opponent's probably in a dire position and have probably lost the game by then. And lastly is its -5, which is naturally main. If your opponent doesn't have any battle cards to play, deal 1 damage to your opponent. Now this is really, it's pretty easy to pull off, because the fact that you have your leader's effect is activate main for 2 bottom deck on your opponent's battle cards, and you also have the arrival package with the Cooler and Boo, which allow you to minus things. And Cooler goes through barrier. So if your opponent's got things on barrier that you can't remove, you can arrival some of those in to help clear the board that way. Bottom deck stuff with your leader to help clear the way to use the -5. So you got an alternative way to win with that effect, and there is a chance. And using the 8-drop of Goku as well, you can potentially burn 3 in 1 turn as well, which is very strong. So that's the user choice and the basically meaning around the deck. The next one we have is the blue-red arrival chain. So normally turn 1, what you want to try and do is charge a red-blue, so that way you have access to Being Live straight away. Normally turn 1, it doesn't matter if you charge a dual colour, because this deck is quite defensive and gains quite a lot of advantage to be able to. And once you're awakened, you can sack off any unnecessary energy to draw more cards to help defend. And having things like Bean and Beerus allows you to have energy for Topo, and also have an easier way to defend. So we have the Beerus, which is basically the red-blue super combo. When you combo it during your opponent's turn, as long as your leader is red or blue, you untap one of your multicolour red-blue energy, which is easy enough. One thing you got to watch out for is some people do play the Gogeta True Fighting Spirit, which is triggered by this. Then we have the arrival cards. We have the Cooler. Nothing more to say about this really. It's generally a 1 cost for 1 red, but when you arrival, using arrival being the double striker, that can then minus 2 battle cards by 10k, ignore and barrier, make your opponent mill card. The mill could come in handy. I have had a game where I played against Vegex and they didn't awaken, went on a Kai to try and put more pressure. Well, they went in quite a bit on a Kai to do a bit more pressure, and I was able to arrival this in and make them mill the last card in the deck before because they've got the awaken during the attack. And then we have the Boo, which does the same thing, but but having a single strike in 19k, but comes in for blue instead of red, and doesn't go for barrier, but still, and only minuses 1 card down. But still, it allows you to, when you play it, you draw a card, which could give you more options, minus 10k on something, and then at the end of the turn, you can return something that is red or blue back to your hand. So you can either grab back a Cooler if you dropped it already, you can grab back a Topo that's on the board from being used the last turn. It can come in, that effect can come in handy quite a few times. But we play a 4-3-3 because sometimes we get dead in hand, and also want to make space to make sure we've got maxed out 4 Topo, and I like having this 8-drop Gogeta mained. So I went with 4-3-3, and even if you don't see one for ages, or don't charge 1 by the time you drop the Unison, sometimes there's a chance you can hit 1 off of Veku, or even then after ramping with Veku you can charge 1, and it doesn't hinder your turn that much if you ramp with Veku. So if If you get a turn 3, drop Veku, and Veku ramps, you go to 5, then you can charge a dual colour, and then you still have 5 energy if you're not awakened to go 4 for Unison, untap 2 will awaken, then 3 more to drop your Gogeta chain. So next we have the Veku package. The Veku and Gogeta packages. So Veku. So this is the main reason that the deck is viable. The leader is viable because of the main reason for the deck is because it is a nice, probably one of the best ramp strategies, or not the best ramp strategy, but the most viable one at the moment. Like you have the one with green-blue, but that restricts you to what battle cards you can play, whereas this doesn't restrict you for what battle cards you can play. So for 3 energy, so you've got to wait to turn 3 to drop this. You have to drop a Union Fusion with a red Son Goku BR and a red Vegeta BR. That's blocker and barrier. So barrier means it's hard to interact with. Blocker means most leaders, they need to attack with the leader to draw 1. So normally they're going to be attacking with the leader. If they don't want to attack with the leader, they're not gaining their card. So they're not triggering your ramp, but they're not gaining advantage. So that's still good. If they do not attack and that turn not trigger Veku, you then go turn 4, play them. If they don't attack you and leave you to turn 4 without triggering this, then you just go ahead and play Unison -2, and if they want to attack Unison, they go trigger Veku then. And then you might have as well Topo and Baby then to protect it more as well. And then if they still don't attack by then, you drop your Gogeta chain, and you're not really worrying at all then, because they're not gaining advantage, and then you're set up. But basically what happens is, when it's KO'd, so remember KO'd, so if it has power reduced by things like Cooler or SSB Kaioken, which is mainly the reason why you have to watch out against red decks with this, because they have ways to get through barrier and reduce the power of this so it doesn't trigger. But when it's KO'd and your leader has blue Gogeta BR, which is, you can grab one of each of the up to one of each of the materials you use for Union Fusion. And if you added 2 of them back, so if you added both a Gogeta and a Goku and a Vegeta to your hand, you take the top 2 cards of your deck and charge them, which is fantastic. And then with the pieces, the Goku's play is, first one play is 4 copies of prepping. Because the effect is you play it, look at the top 3 cards, and you can either grab a Veku or a red Vegeta BR from the top 3, and the rest of them you bottom deck. So when you're doing this, you mainly want to if you're going to play this and use your leader's frontside ability, you want to make sure you use this first, then your leader's ability, because the leader looks at top 3 and bottom decks whatever you don't take, and the leader looks at top 5 and then shuffles the deck. So if you use your leader's effect first, you look at top 5 and shuffle, and then do this, you look at top 3 and bottom deck, you're not looking at many cards, because if you're already shuffling the deck, you can potentially see the same cards you saw with Goku. But if you use Goku, you can look at top 3, grab something if there's a target, and bottom deck the rest. And then with the leader, you look at another new 5 cards, and then you look at 8 different cards for your deck to try and grab 2 cards. So always make sure to try and use the preppings first before using the leader skill. So you look through more cards before you shuffle. And we run 4 of this and only 3 of the Ever Goku, because this one's more valuable in helping search the pieces before you get to the turn 3 to drop Veku, whereas the other one is just helping yourself awaken. And what I mean by that is, with Son Goku got the aura, you're not going to be using the second auto, so don't worry about that. It's mainly the first auto that this card's in the deck for, because of when it's played. It's the first auto you ignore. The second auto is the one that you want to use. You'll be using, where when this card is discarded from your hand by Union Fusion skill, so by Veku or Gogeta chains, you can add up to 1 card from your life to your hand. So if you're not awakened yet, or need to take life, and sometimes my opponent's left it 5 life, and then I've gone, okay, drop Veku, drop in this and Vegeta, take a life, do my stuff with Vegeta, and then I'm able to awaken. So they can do nothing by stopping me at 5. And if you're lower than 4 and you don't want to take life, you don't have to, it's up to. And you run 3 of this because the other one's more valuable. This is just helpful to help yourself awaken if need be. And with Veku being able to grab back, if you're not awakened, then you can do, if you like, say, You drop Veku and then drop the Gogeta, drop the Goku with it to take a life, and you're still not awakened because you're down to like 5 or 6 life. Well, say from 6 to 5 life, and the opponent still does attack you or attack your leader. You can block with Veku, grab out the Goku, then do another Veku or the Gogeta to then use this to then help yourself awaken, so you don't have to really worry. So we have a 7/7 of the Gokus and Vegeta, and for the Vegeta we have 4 of the Godly Aura, and that's because of its second effect being really helpful to help you maintain the chain and make it more consistent as well. Because his auto is when this card is discarded from your hand by Union Fusion, so similar to how Goku is. Instead of taking a life, you look at the top 7 cards of your deck, and you add up to 1 Gogeta BR card from among them to your hand. If you add a card to your hand, you discard a card from your hand. So this allows you to search for any of these 3 pieces. So if you need one of these 2 for the chain that you're missing, you can grab them and then discard any other card. And or if you don't need one of these, you can look at the top 7 and try and see if you can find this and discard it straight up. Add it to your hand and discard it, so it's there for whenever you want to grab it. And the reason why you can grab that from the drop is because of this Vegeta, which we run 3 of, which is Vegeta preparing for battle. As its effect is activate main, place this card from your hand in your drop area, choose up to 1 Veku or Gogeta BR card from your drop area into your hand. So we run 3 of these because we can't run more than 4 copies of this Vegeta, and I feel like the other Vegeta's BRs aren't really helpful that are red. And this one allows you to combo off pieces of your allows you to combo off pieces and help you retrieve them whenever you need to. And with Veku, one nice little thing you can do with Veku if you come to a really stally game and you're trying to defend, you can always just pay 5 to play Veku. If your opponent attacks, you can block with it, grab back just to so with Veku you need to ramp, you need to grab back 2 pieces of Goku and Vegeta. Because you can grab up to 1 of each, you can just block with Veku, grab back just the Vegeta, and then you don't ramp, but you at least replace him. And then use the Vegeta, grab back the Veku, hardcast the Veku, so you can keep defending that way if you need be. If you have the energy and don't have anything else to do with it. This is great in the fact that you can charge any of these pieces, and the second one for your leaders awaken side and grab them straight back to drop, or grab back the Veku if you ever want to ramp a second time for whatever reason. But that's the core for that. That's the main strategy of the ramping. Well, main strategy for ramping. And we run 4 of Veku and 7 pieces of each Goku and Vegeta. Then with the Gogeta chain, we run 4-4-1. So because these 2 pieces are very strong for just generally attacking and pushing through damage as well, and also helping them maintain the Marcus on your unison. And the Gogeta here is to help clear your opponent's board if they go wide, burn if they've got an empty field. Yeah, it's basically it's either there to burn or help maintain the board. So with the Gogeta Fusion of the Gods, it's got Deflect, so this card is not really hurt by any of the free counterplays, which is handy. And you do it this is why I stress that you need to only charge red energy, or make sure your energy is all red. Is because you need, at least for this Union Fusion, you need 3 red. So for this one, you need 3 red. You draw 2 cards, and you discard a red Goku BR card and a red Vegeta BR card from your hand with the same power. But luckily, all of them do have the same power, and it has a permanent, which this card can be KO'd. That's what I mean by none of the counterplayers can affect it, because it's got Deflect. The Yamcha, Trunks, and Vegeta don't affect it because of Deflect, and then the Frieza can't kill it because it has that permanent where it can't be KO'd. And also is pointless going over because you need your leader to be red, which it isn't. And then on top of that, we evolve 3, the SSB Gogeta technique and chain. What you've got to make sure with this is that you play this last. If you play all your other battle cards first, and then play this as your last one because of its auto effects, which we're going to go over. So the double strike X evolve onto a mono red Gogeta BR with entry cost of 5, which is the one beforehand. Luckily, the good thing is they're all 5k combos apart from the 8 drop and 8 drop. well, both the 5-drop and the 6-drop are 5k combos, so you can still combo them out easier, which is nice. So once again, it has a permanent where you can't be KO'd, and it has 2 autos. The first one is what I mean by you play this last, because when it evolves into a card, when it evolves on top of a card, choose up to one of your red unison cards, add 2 markers to it, which is why you can maintain markers on unison, and then you can't play battle cards for the turn. So this is what I mean by you have to be last, because once you evolve into it, you can't play any more battle cards as soon as it successfully hits the board, and you give your unison two extra markers. So you can always -2 from the Gogeta, then evolve into this to add those 2 markers straight back. And then one of the best things with this card is when it attacks, or one of your opponent's cards attack, so it could be the leader attacking, unison, or battle card, you can choose one of your opponent's cards and it gets -2,000 power for the battle. And if you do, you negate your skill for the turn. So this is really strong. Being able to, if it attacks a leader, you minus their battle card, you minus their leader by 20k, putting it as a -5k leader for the battle. And you're a 35k double strike, so that's 40k difference. And 45k combo for an out combo that attack if they need to. And being on the minus power as well means you can knock markers off of unison as well. So if your opponent's got a unison with 3 markers, you can swing at the unison, -2 to knock a marker off, and then double strike 35k to knock get rid of the last 2 markers, which is really strong. So a lot of time what I'll do is attack with this first, so I can attack the leader. So if they negate the attack, I can still knock a marker off the unison, or -1 of the battle cards to get rid of it by 20k. And then the last piece of Gogeta, which is the EX Evolve. So you can EX Evolve this card atop the 6-drop by discarding 2 red cards from your hand. It's got double strike. It's got a permanent where, like the rest of the chain, can't be KO'd, but also it can attack battle cards in active mode. So if you want to get rid of your opponent's board, you can keep attacking, and even if they combo out, you can attack again because of its second auto, which is when it attacks a battle card, you're going to tap it once again. And the second auto, its first auto is the one that is mainly in it. I mainly keep it in the main deck for is when it evolves into a card. When it evolves on top of a card, if there are no battle cards in play in your opponent's battle area, choose up the 2 cards in your opponent's life and place them in the drop area, and you can't play and never copy this card for the duration of the turn. So this allows you with the unison to play if you clear your opponent's board, drop this, burn them for 2, and then burn if put them from 3 to 1, then use the unison's -5 to burn the card, burn them life, which is great. So it means really you don't need to put your opponent down to. You can put your opponent down to just 4 to 3, and then those 2 cards take care of the rest of it. One thing you do want to watch out for though is if you do clear their board and I try to burn them with this, all you need to is make sure if you're doing it to burn, if you're doing it to burn them from 3 to 1, then there's nothing you can really do. But if you're planning to use this to burn them for the last 2 life, make sure you use the unison's -2, because if they use a counterplay that can play itself, the counterplay come out first. So when this hits the board, they've got a battle card, so this won't trigger the burn. So watch out for that. And then for the rest of the cards, we have 4 Topo. Just being, I'm not ready to go over it because everybody really knows what Topo does. It's one of the best negates, the best negate you can have for this deck, because you can't run Raise because your leader's not red, and Dimension Magic is not really that handy because you don't really have that much blue energy, because you're trying to make sure you have red. But this is a really good one to help you survive longer as well. And we max out on 4 because it's just really handy to have, and really helps to make sure you can survive longer. Then you have the secret rare choice for the deck, Baby Hatch, being on the end turns. This is best to have when you drop the unison. So when you drop the unison turn 4, and use the effect of -2 markers, making sure that it can't kill the unison is really strong. So if you don't got a way to block it or use a Topo, you're going to want to use, this is the best way to just end the turn there and go, you can't go to unison. So now it's going to -2 again. And then lastly, we got 4 Beam to make sure that they give one added defense, gives more energy to use to drop more things, and also in combination with Beerus allows to go from 0 energy untapped to 2 energy untapped, potentially to help use Hatchak, to drop more Arrival or drop a Topo. That's it for the main deck. So the main thing you want to do is, what I normally do is, you want to try and mulligan for a red-blue. What you want to mainly mulligan for is the cards that aren't searchable for, which is the 1 red blue cards. Try not to use the burst because it's nice free 10k combo if needed against aggro, and you don't really want to be charging a super combo, so you want to try and mulligan for one of these two to charge first, and maybe a Vegeta Unison. So if you open with one of these two and Unison, keep those and mulligan the rest back, and you want to try and always mulligan for away these pieces, because that's the way. The more you got on deck, the more easier more likely you are to make sure you always hit onto the leader, rather than, because if you open up 6 of these, you can have less targets in your deck to use for your leader. So what you can do is turn 1, charge a dual color. Turn 2, play some of these Gokus if you have enough of them. They help you search more, so you can play 1, look at top 3, 2, look at the next top 3, and then leader effect, so look at the next top 5. So you look essentially at 11 cards in your deck to try and find what you have. And with this deck as well, you can look through quite quickly, see what's in your deck by just looking and putting to the bottom. In turn 3, you want to drop Veku. Now, one thing you might want to do is against red decks, maybe not drop Veku, because you want to try and you can drop Veku if it's a best of 3. Try and see if they have Kaioken. If they have Kaioken, you're okay, and you get to see if they don't play Kaioken or not. And if in a best of 3, if you know they're playing Kaioken, you know then that you don't want to drop this. You just want to try and defend easier and drop the chain Gogeta instead. So you could drop this and have it on the board. And then if this all goes according to plan, you get the Veku down and you block with it, and it gets KO'd in your ramp, you then want to save your Awakening turn for that turn to then drop the Unison, uses -2, Awaken to get 3 more energy, drop the chain, and then have this as well to help. So then you have this to put some pressure on your opponent's board, shut off all their playing by effects, and then have this offensively to -20k something, and defensively to help protect the Unison. And yeah, and then after that, once you get your turn 5, after that turn 5, you then want to drop more of these and try and crush your opponent by either just putting a lot of pressure with attacks and burning as well. And then once you've got that set up, you then want to be using the Elite's effect to sack off energy to help you keep the advantage going. And then on with the side deck. So with the side deck, this is what I've got. I've decided to go with Son Goku's trying to be the best, because with a lot of the mini aggro now, like with Vegeks and stuff, they have a lot of 1-drops to go at you. So being able to turn 1 charge a multicolor, and then turn 2 charge a red card and then play this prevents your opponent, for like black doesn't really have any barrier removal, so having this means they can't attack with they can play the 1-drops, but they can't attack with them to be able to help self-awaken and take some life to put pressure on. And leading B, because really the only one that really affects this deck the most is the True Fighting Spirit ones, but with them being 5k, you can easily remove them with a rival as long as they can't attack with them. So that's helpful to stop some mini aggro. Then we include a 4th copy of the Cooler and Hercule to help against with aggro. So you can swap out if you're against a deck that is very aggressive. You side out the Unisons to help, and siding the Unisons because you still search for Veku to have the charge combo power to help with a rival because it's a blue card. And side these 2 in, and maybe 2 Son Gokus or something else to help with aggression. Like when you go against aggro deck, you want to side out the Unison, because it's if they're an aggro deck, they're not going to really be getting to the point where you can drop this and keep it safe. And then we have 2 Food Dark Banisher. With this deck, you could potentially ramp to 8 energy to the hard cast this, so it stays on board, and it's a really handy overwhelm to help against things like Dark Broly and stuff, to put attack out, or any decks that don't really gain that much advantage, because you can gain quite a decent drop area, and it's a really good card to pressure your opponent's advantage while you're gaining quite a lot as well. And if you got this down after dropping the Unison in the long game, then as well as not being able to play things by effects, they're then losing a lot of cards when they're taking pressure from a Gogeta, Unison, Leader, and free attacks from Fu as well. Then we have 2 Mechakabura for those decks that are quite predictable, like Red Broly and Dark Broly, and things like Shinchenon as well, to stop them from dropping their main cards they want. That would stopping the 8 drops from coming down if they haven't got on the board already, and Dark Broly the 6 drops, and Dark Broly their chain. Then we have 3 Chilled Army Reinforcements, because really, with the deck, really at the moment, Dimension Magic isn't really handy for the deck, because you want to make the full use of the negate, which while you can take a life and negate for free, you don't really get the untap, and you might not even have any energy, or let alone 1 energy you could probably untap with it. I decided to go with 3 Chilled Army Reinforcements for a negate in the side deck for against aggro decks, because unlike Dimension Magic, you can stop 2 attacks, because you negate the attack initially with the card, then you give yourself a token that is a blocker as well, so that can then negate another attack. And since this deck doesn't really awaken, it can help you go from 5 to 4, and if you're against an aggro deck, they're going to be attacking you a lot, so they're going to be putting you down to where you can trigger this for free. And then it helps as well, it avoids the things like True Fight Spirit, which hinders Dimension Magic as well. Then we have 2 Kaioken on Goku Concentrated Destruction. This is against things like Invoker to get rid of Vegeta, and anything with Barrier that's hard to remove, or just giving yourself a helpful way on turn 3 to wipe out your opponent's board if they go for Winnie Rush as well. So there's an extra side in for help against aggro, because you can defend enough with this deck to get to turn 3, and then drop this to wipe their board and give yourself a 15 to get attacker. And lastly, 1 helpful Champer to help against kind of like clap back aggro when they go at you, or if you feel you need to be more aggressive as well. There's not any room that I've been trying to figure out ways to kind of help keep the Cooler and Boo up to 4, but then there's not enough room in the deck because you want 40 units and because you can't search it. The only flex spots really is the 8-drop Gogeta, but I'm enjoying that so much in the main that I don't really want to take it out. And it can serve more use for destruction with the Leader, being able to easy enough burn 2 cards without interaction, whereas Champ and Easy interacting with swinging as well. So that's the whole main deck side deck. So if you wanted to give it a test, feel free to go up here. We'll come into the deck profile, which is the link in the description box. Click up here and add to your untap and go nuts with it. But what we'll do now is get into some gameplay to see the deck in action. So this is a game I had against someone on Untap, playing their some Goku. Oh yeah, the black Goku Zeno Leader. So as you can see from here, I won the Lightning Roll, which is huge because it means I can drop the Veku before they get the turn 3. So I have a lead in the race at the moment, and I made sure to keep the Vegito and Boo to make sure I've got that turn 1 charge and Unison ready to drop turn 4. And I kept the Beerus as well because where this deck might be pretty aggro. I lost the die roll, so I'm going second. And keeping the Beerus means I've got more combo power to help deal with any insane aggro. So I draw for turn and get the Gogeta, which I'm going to charge turn 2, so it gives me easy charge. And usually as effect, I grab the Goku as well because the 1-drop Goku can help me get the Vegeta or Veku, so I'd rather keep more of them in the deck to use with the 1-drop when I get it. So I went for the Goku instead. So that's mainly what I want to do. You mainly want to go for the Goku because one of the Gokus can help you search for the Ever 2, and having the Ever 2 in deck, more of the Ever 2 in deck with Veku and the Vegeta allows you to have more targets from when you play the 1-drop the search. So did the search and then pass because there's no point attacking him to help himself awaken quicker, because if he wants to self-awaken, he's got to play his 1-drops if he does play him, which I'm not sure if he did, which I think he does. Yeah, we do see that he does. and he has to attack with leader as well. So leaving him to attack with leader, help him self-awaken, means he's helping me self-awaken. So it's win-win because he's self-awakened by his own leader, but he's also awakening me. So for me, it's win-win. For him, it's not really a big win. And we do see that he does play True Fighting Spirit, so I need to be cautious if he does drop it to get rid of it before playing any more ramp. So drawn to a bean, so I've got 2 beans out. So I've got even more defense, having 2 bursts in hand and 2 bean help me defend a lot quicker. And strategy for next turn is to use a. So he drops this tag team Trunks, crit me, and I think he just goes in with 15k crit. And of course, I don't want to. Well, I do want to self-awaken, I don't want to get critted, and that's only down for a turn, so I decided to use a burst to help make sure I can defend as well, and just in case he does go more aggressively on me, the energy helps me use the Gogeta the combo out. If he doesn't, just pass the turn with 2 energy up, so I just have it for charging. And here we go, where I play the Goku first to look at top 3, and unfortunately I say never Goku, which would have been nice to grab. So I put this to the bottom, so now I can look for a never 5, so I'm looking through 8 cards total from my deck. And there, I make sure to grab never 1 drop, because I said, even though I've already got, and this is my third Goku, and I haven't got any other pieces, I'd rather play this to grab to try and see if I can find a never target. So we look at top 3, and unfortunately, I whiff with that as well, seeing 2 toppers, which I won't see probably for ages as well. And then luckily, the good thing is that I'm not going to attack again because, as I said, I don't want to push, help him self-awaken quicker. And they just go back to my hand, ready for combo power. So even if so he knows I got this 2 in hand, and even if I have to combo out, I still have got the aura in my hand for the use of Veku. So the issue with this now is, unless I draw a Vegeta or a Veku, I'm going to need to play a 1-drop and then use a bean to get me my free energy so I can be able to drop the Veku. But luckily he's giving me a target, so I don't have to target a leader by using his Demigra. So he does the Demigra, plays it down. It does the whole thing of swinging at leader, taking a life, bursting, taking a life, drawing a card. Don't think he adds anything onto this. Just the fact that he's kept the Unison on board means I've got things I can swing at to help trigger Bean as well. So he uses the Demigra. Sorry, not a Demigra, a Gravy to put cards back in the deck. So, unless he really needs a certain amount of cards in deck, it's just not really. Just using a lot of time to help me self-awaken, so he drops the Brainwash Unleashed, which is fine because that doesn't have crit or anything, and if he swings with it, he's helping me awaken quicker. But annoyingly, I got a never Unison from my life, which is not what I want. I want to see a Vegeta or a Veku. So swings at my lead with the Brainwash. I'm not going to combo out of this. There's no point. So I just take the hit, and annoyingly get a 3rd Unison. So this is not what I want. At least I have a card to charge, which is good, but it's not a Veku or a Vegeta, which I need. So he's got Wormhole in his Unison now, so he can Overwhelm again if he wants to. I can't remember if he does or not. No, he just passes, so he doesn't even bother Overwhelm again, even though he's set up for Overwhelm. So I normally draw a Cooler, which is not I want, so I go straight in with going with the Goku, the Transceiver card piece, hoping from top 3, and I do manage to find a Vegeta, not the one I wanted, because I want to try and get the 5-drop, but at least it's a Vegeta for this. So I'm going to use a leader, hoping to get a Veku, and look at that, I managed to see 3 Vekus, which is great. So I managed to at least grab all the pieces ready to do it. And so of course I've got to swing. I can swing it as Unison rather than swing it as lead. and I've got to use a beam to make sure I can drop the Veku. So I use the beam, tap the blue, and then tap my 2 energy to give me the amount for beam, the amount for the drop Veku. So I drop Veku, making sure to. What I probably shouldn't have done here was take. So I decided to take the life for Hidden Aura, which I really thinking about, I probably shouldn't have done. I should have just left it so at 5 to keep me more energy, because he's got attack, and this Goku is going to be coming back to hand. But I wanted to awaken, so at least I can draw more cards, and just in case I draw Toppo off of it at the end, I can at least get the. At least if I do drop, see a Toppo, that's what I want to do. And instead I find never Goku. So annoyingly, I'm seeing all my Gokus, but not seeing any Vegetas, apart from that one. And now I'm thinking, just in case he plays a Human Extinction attack, I want to try and get another Vegeta, because then if he swings, because he knows he's got all these Gokus, and if he attacks, and then in Human Extinction attacks, they get rid of one of my pieces. I need to at least combo one of the pieces to help, to make sure I've got pieces in there. Because when a battle ends, the combo pieces go to drop. So if I combo with Veku, the combo pieces all go to drop, and then Veku is KO'd, and then it trigger after that. And so I managed to find a Nero Veku and a Vegeta. So even if he does Human Extinction attack and gets rid of Vegeta, I can combo off that Vegeta, but then it still triggered a Veku to ramp and also get my Vegeta back. So I get all 3 of those Gokus back. So I've got quite a large hand, enough pieces as well to do my chain. Normally I've got 2. I got 2 unisons instead of, which could have been a combo card, which would have been handy. At least it gives me another card to charge when I get to my next turn, so I can go from 4 to 6 to make sure I can still do the unison and then Gogeta chain if I want to. So straight up, to make sure that this still definitely triggers, I decide to block with Veku to make sure that just in case if he swung with lead and then didn't attack again for the turn, I still had the Veku up, but then I'm not ramping to do what I want to do. And as I've predicted, he does use the Human Extinction attack, but then for some reason he has to get rid of the Goku instead of Vegeta, which is strange. So I don't mind this. Take a look at his drop to see if he's got any Veku deck stuff, which he doesn't. Vegex deck stuff. So I combo off the Goku, let the thing die because it's a 25k to 15. Grab out the 2 pieces, and then I managed to ramp 2. And annoyingly, the first 2 Toppos I see go straight to energy. So this shows that I've only got 2 Toppos left, and it's whether I got one in my hand or not, which I don't. Though he's only got 3 energy, and he hasn't got much. He hasn't got many cards in hand, and he can't awaken yet, which is the handy thing. But I've got no Toppos, and I've got no what's it called? No Toppos, and no Baby Hatch. So you're thinking what to do. Because he knows now I play Toppo, and he drops a secret rare Rebello. I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting more of him having the Kai, but I think after seeing my Vegeta Unison, he's aware that if he doesn't drop it now, well, I would assume that if he'd probably drop this because he sees my Vegeta Unison and realises if he doesn't drop it now, he's not going to be able to drop it at all. And this way, at least, he applies lots of pressure because he gets 2 overwhelm cards out. So with Rebello, he gets out both Demagra and Brainwash, which the thing with this is the Demagra is going to make you warp a card from my hand. And for some reason, I don't choose a Unison. I don't know why. I should have chosen a Unison. And here I'm contemplating if I want combo out of this and use the caller to hit those, but I think now I'll wait for this. I'll come out the next attack so that's used up. So I combo with the Beerus, and then use the Cola to minus the Rebello and the Brainwashed to combo out, and still have 2 energy up. Because there's not, well, I haven't really got anything I can use the energy with because I don't have a topper, which sucks. And I do make him, annoyingly, I do make him mill card as well, so he's got an extra card in the drop. So now I think he's contemplating if he wants to swing again. And he drops his. So he goes ahead and drops a Vegeta. So I know I don't really want to use Bean because that would make me warp a card from hand. And I can easily, and as long as he doesn't put a lot into it, I can out combo the Vegeta. So he takes a life, then awakens the draw to untap and draw 1 to up his hand a bit more. Needs a 15, so I decided to just combo up a bit. Now, so now I'm thinking I've got the Cooler to help combo out of Rebello, which is, and then I can combo off at least a Veku and a Goku if need be. Because most of Vegeta's here, next turn I can drop the 6 drop, hardcast the 6 drop, and then evolve onto it the sack off the 8 drop of my energy, grab back with a Vegeta, and then attack all of his board to get rid of it, and then put some pressure on his lead. But he ends up going Union Fusion into this new Gogeta from TP13. So, and annoyingly, that's going to get rid of my Cooler, so I don't have it for combo power, which sucks. So he's trying to get me down so he can kill me with Rebello because it's still 30k. So I decided to take the hit there. And here I'm just worried he's going to combo into it, but depending on what is in hand. Because Rebello is still 30k, but he decides to leave it at that, not put pressure because he knows I've got Cooler and Majin Buu in the deck. So I'm trying to figure out the best, the most I can get without wasting the super combo. So I don't really want to waste using the super combo. It's not going to trigger for that, but I want to keep it for next turn and help defend easier. Because it's a free 10k. But I want to make sure I keep the Vegeta so I can grab back the 6 drop. So I draw a 5 drop, which is really handy, and straight up charge when they use Unisons. And now I'm trying to think of what is the best thing to do. So I want to first get rid of this Vegeta because it can help him take more life, and it allows me to attack without attacking his leader to give him that life, or to clear his board up a bit. And also knowing that his Rebello doesn't trigger on the leader swing. So annoyingly, I draw Veku. I'm really digging the chance if I can find a Topo or Baby Hatch. And as I go through, because what I think I want to do with this is be able to drop the Vegeta Unison so he can't play any more things by skills, and also as well use my beam and untap as well if I need be. So I'm going to drop the. I'm trying to think as well, thinking about what the best players to do. So I decided to just drop the Unison. And then make sure to tap off this 8 drop as well, because I want to sack that off so it's still in the drop to get the draw 2. And I do finally get a topper, which is amazing. So I can use that more for defense. Because with the Beerus, I could get the. So I decided first to just swing at the Gogeta, because I want to get rid of that, because that's one that's going to be annoying, because it's extra double strike pressure. And if I drop anything like a rival, if I use Topo, you can still swing with that, get rid of Topo, so I don't have that as combo power. To be someone trying to advise him that he can use the Rebello, but that's Rebello's not doesn't work on Unisons, it only works on battle cards. And I decided to use the bean here because I got 2 beans to make it 25k to crash into it and see if he gets combo out of anything. See if he does, because I want to make sure I got energy open to Bean on the attack of my lead, and then give myself. What I was planning to do is if he didn't use if he didn't combo out of it, I was going to spin the Gogeta off, so he's got one less attacker, so I'm energy open to then use Bean and stuff and Beerus to help it, so I can help combat off one attack, then have or even just help combat off one attack with using Bean to help me have more combo power. Put myself a Bean for the turn, make it harder to kill me, and then have Toppo and then Beerus Majin Buu to help me defend. But since he didn't, I decided to go for Veku because that could help me get more energy. Well, not more energy, but help me get back more cards. Like help me block an attack and get those 2 cards back. So I'm basically playing 3 energy for a blocker to help defend. And what I want to do with this is make just a vibe. So if they attack my unison, I don't really care because it's done its job stopping for this turn to play things by effects. And having the blocker means I can easily defend one attack. So I don't put myself in a bad situation like where I only have 1, but at least I have a Toppo. Because even then, if he attacks with a 30k Veku, I can still use the Beerus to. Yeah, I can still use the Beerus to untap, grab back a card, or untap energy, use Bean, and then have then have an open for a Toppo, but I won't have Buu live. So instead, I just take attack and look. He attacks with Demograph first to make me lose a card, which is smart. So I just block with Veku, decide to just leave it that, get rid of the Goku because it's not it's not useful, and luckily I hit 2 red cards, so they come in untapped, and for me to use Toppo before defending with Beerus and stuff. So here I'm straight up going to use Toppo, not even worrying about Super Kamehameha, because it's all I've really got. So I decided to just use Toppo, dropping off the Goku to just negate attack. Now it means that if you just want to attack with either the other 2 cards, he has to lose 4 cards from hand. So it means that he's got less cards in hand to go in, and if he goes all in and can't kill me, then it means if he goes all in and can't kill me, then he can't re-attack for the turn unless rest of the turn, unless he has any more cards, unless he leaves 2 cards in hand. And also as well as that, if he doesn't go in, he's losing more and more cards trying to kill me this turn. So he uses Leader's Effect to put back some cards, the draw card to give him more cards in hand. And he goes in with Rebello. So he discards his 2 cards. He discards a Saiyan Transcendence and Marvelous Might. So here now I'm thinking, right, it's a 40k, I can put a 20k difference in with the Beerus and the Buu. So I had to use this to have more energy just in case I draw anything handy off the Buu, or even then still be able to drop the Buu, minus it and combo off with the Buu. So yeah, untap the energy, use the Bean to have a Bean for the turn, reduce Rebello, so that is 30k there, I just need to put 5k on. So I combo off the Buu because I don't want to over combo. So I managed to combo out a 40k double strike, and now my leader is 20k for the turn to help defend easy. And I still got an energy open, so I can combo off the Buu if need be. And look at my hand. I want to, like, if he stops attacking, that's fine with this. But I want to kind of. But now if he puts, the more he attacks, the more cards he's losing from hand. So as long as I can combat the attacks, I'm absolutely fine. And being a 20k leader is just as handy. He decides to try and use yeah, so he decides to use the his overarm to use the Gogeta to just basically walk more so his leader stronger. Because I think he makes his lead, because that puts 16 in his drop, makes leader 25k. So even though it doesn't get played, he still gives his leader an extra 5k boost from that. So he swings at lead, drops 2 cards, then combos. I didn't notice as well they didn't tap for Fu, but it's fine. So I do this out combo Fu, use a Vegeta, out combo the Vegeta. Go. Yeah, so he's 25, and I went to. No, he went at 35. I think we might have miscalculated there, but he said 35, and I out comboed the 40 to make sure I could survive. And then yeah, so he can't attack again because he's got no cards in hand because of Topo. So I just draw, and I'm trying to think do I manage his board to help me survive be more likely to survive, or do I try and kill him? Because I think the more I try to kill him, the more cards I give him. So I use so I'm thinking I wanted to grab back the 8-drop, but then realize, because I can attack all his board, but then realize I didn't charge, so I only got 7 energy, so I have to hard test it for 8. So I just grab back the 6-drop because I can still drop that. So I +1 on Unison because I don't need to stop him from playing cards. So I just use it to draw 1 to give me more. So just give me more draw. And I end up drawing a bean, so I know. So I'm really happy with this because the fact that I can now drop the Gogeta, swing, and then bean up my lead to make sure he puts damage because he's still like Vegeta off the combo. So yeah, so I can tap the 6, play this, now I can use the leader, sack off the energy, draw 2 cards, which luckily are 2 5Ks. And then now I can swing the leader, use the bean to give me 2 energy and tap to get rid of Rebello, so that the Gogeta can to attack without being negated, because Rebello can sack off either Demigra or Brainwash to negate an attack from a battle card. And luckily it only works with battle cards, not my Unison or leader swing. So I decided to bean up my leader 20, so even if he combos off the Vegeta, he takes the damage. And then yeah, so he has to take that because he can't combo it. And then I attack into his lead. And here I'm thinking, just in case that's a super combo, but I know he's playing I look at the great drop, and you can see he's playing the SS Vegeta. Now he tries to use the Rebello, but I remind him that it only works on battle cards. It only works on battle cards attack, so you can put that back, and he's not going to stop this attack. So I'm going at 20k, and I know I need to combo at least 5k because you can combat with that card. But I think just the only card that he can have in hand that could stop this is Human Extinction. So I'd either go up to 30k, so if that's 2 5ks out combo, and even if it's a super combo, he doesn't have if it's not a super combo, it just draws 1, he's got to waste that. So now I use the leader's effect to bounce the remove from game the Rebello, so that way it can't negate my transatlantic attack. So it basically depends if he's got a negate, which apparently he's got no negate. So if he draw a negate, he won because he can stop the attack. If he doesn't, a swing Gogeta is a 30k double strike, and then puts a minus 20k as leader, putting a 40k difference in. And luckily, he didn't have a negate, so he didn't manage to stop that. But yeah, I didn't realise that I should have comboed more. I did have enough to out combo still anyway. I still did have enough that combo as leader swing attack because I comboed the 40, he comboed the 40, but he put 35, which I think he miscalculated, and I also miscalculated, and I didn't properly check. I didn't see, but I still could have out comboed that last attack, but I just wouldn't have been able to drop the 6-drop. So yeah, misplay there, but still it goes to show just how great the deck functions have. Well, you didn't really get to see how strong the Vegeta is because he still dropped the board before. but it did prevent him from playing anything else for free, because he could have played that Gogeta by Union Fusion Overwhelm if I didn't, to put more pressure on. But yeah, that's the deck. And that was a bit of gameplay. Hopefully it puts you a bit more interest to see how strong the actual deck is. This is something I'm going to be playing when it comes to the next set. Because it's really fun. It's very strong for the format, and it's just, I love this leader as well. This leader is so much fun. I remember I did play it before, back when we had the UK Expo in Birmingham in the UK. I played this back when we had the Gogeta Revived and stuff, using it as a boss monster dot deck, and that got me up to top 16, which was fun. And I just like using this leader whenever I can. And I was trying to keep it to mono blue, but I gave up on blue. But luckily, this allows me to still play the deck without heavily investing in blue, apart from the baby hatch, which I can always buy from friends as well. So yeah, if you're interested in this, feel free to give it a try. And also, don't forget to subscribe if you want to keep up to date with my channel and the videos as and when they get dropped. Normally come out on the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. And if there's any news in the week revolving Dragon Ball card game or events in Europe, then I'll normally have my previous in DBS video up on a Sunday to give you the news of the week. But also as well, feel free to give a like to the video if you enjoyed it and found it helpful, and comment if there's anything you want me to see me cover, be it a deck, gameplay or anything, or if there's anything you got wrong in this, or anything you want, just comment down below. I'll try and reply back as best I can. And that's it. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. So bye for now.